And welcome to the Knowing Show. I am your host, Christene Marie. Y'all, I'm so excited for this morning. We're in the middle of a review section in A Course in Miracles. So for those of you who are new to the Knowing Show, we've been reading through this amazing text every single day since January 1st at the beginning of this year. And every single day there's a lesson through the end of the year. And so we're making this a study of ours, learning to. There's so many different benefits of reading this text. And so I would say one of the biggest benefits is actually learning to go to the mental gym, the cognitive gym in so many ways, how to control our thoughts, how to control our mind, and how to replace lies with truth, how to wake up and realize, oh, what I'm believing right now is not actually the truth. Just yesterday, I taught for about 45 minutes and walked through a brand new framework around akin to how to effectively create an operational system in your mind and in your body and for your life. And so part of that, one of the questions actually that was asked to me was akin to how do you control your mind? And it's through practices like this. It's through going to the gym every day, like how we do for our body, but doing that for our soul and our spirit and our mind, and putting into practice the truth. Yesterday, I was asked, how do I make sure that I remember the truth that I'm enough, that I don't have to strive, that I don't have to depend on what other people think about me, that I am worthy in and of myself, and how do I remember that? How do I know that? And she asked me, what do you do? And one of the things that we talked about was this very show and going into the arena, like Theodore Roosevelt talks about in his speech from 1914. Going into the arena and doing the work. We go into the gym and into a physical arena on a daily basis to exercise our bodies. But what about our minds? What about our souls and our spirits? So for those reasons, we are here every single morning, 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern on weekdays, and 11 a.m. Eastern on the weekends. And so I'm so grateful you're here. We are going to just start with a quick brief review of a few of the previous lessons leading up to today. Brian, good morning, my friend. I'm so glad you're back. I don't know where you've been for the last few months, but I hope you're doing so well. All right, let's go ahead and just review yesterday's lesson, and then we'll do today's review. Lesson 121, forgiveness is the key to happiness. Lesson 122, forgiveness offers everything I want. Today's review lessons. I thank my Father for his gifts to me. Lesson 124, let me remember I am one with God. And that's actually the lesson that we're going to be doing a deeper dive on. Today, let us be thankful. We have come to gentler pathways and smoother roads. There is no thought of turning back and no implacable resistance to the truth. A bit of wavering remains, some small objectives and a little hesitance, but you can well be grateful for your gains, which are far greater than you realize. A day devoted now to gratitude will add the benefits of some insight into the real extent of all the gains which you have made, the gifts you have received. Be glad today in loving thankfulness. Your Father has not left you to yourself, nor let you wander in the dark alone. Be grateful he has saved you from the self you thought you made to take the place of him and his creation. Give him thanks today. Give him thanks that he has not abandoned you and that his love forever will remain shining on you, forever without change. Give thanks as well that you are changeless, for the Son he loves is changeless as himself. Be grateful you are saved. Be glad you have a function in salvation to fulfill. Be thankful that your value transcends your meager gifts and petty judgments of the one whom God established as his Son. Today, in gratitude, we lift our hearts above despair and raise our eyes thankfully, no longer looking downcast to the dust. We sing the song of thankfulness today in honor of the self that God has willed to be our true identity. Today, we smile on everyone we see and walk with lightened footsteps as we go to do what we were appointed to do. We do not go alone. And we give thanks that in our solitude, a friend has come to speak the saving word of God to us. And thanks to you for listening to him. His word is soundless if it is not heard. And thanking him, the thanks are yours as well. An unheard message will not save the world, however mighty be the voice that speaks, however loving may the message be. Thanks to you who are. Thanks to you who heard. For you become the messenger who brings his voice with you and lets it echo round and round the world. Receive the thanks of God today as you give thanks to him. For he will offer you the thanks you give, since he receives your gifts in loving gratitude and gives them back 1,000 and 100,000 more than they were given. He will bless your gifts by sharing them with you, and they grow in power and in strength until they fill the world with gladness and with gratitude. Receive his thanks and offer yours to him for 15 minutes twice today, and you will realize to whom you offer thanks and whom he thanks as you are thanking him. This holy half an hour given him will be returned to you in terms of years for every second, powered to save the world eons more quickly than for your thanks to him. Receive his thanks, and you will understand how lovingly he holds you in his mind, how deep and limitless his care for you, how perfect is his gratitude to you. Remember hourly to think of him and give him thanks for everything he gave his son, that he might rise above the world, remembering his Father and his self. I think one of my favorite parts in this is where she says at the very beginning, be glad you have a function in salvation to fulfill. Be thankful that your value far transcends your meager gifts and petty judgments of the one whom God established as his son. Man, y'all, as we step into this, maybe not even step into, maybe it's more so just like taking on the lens of God, the way that he sees us, the way that he sees the world. It's so amazing. It's so amazing when we can look at ourselves through the lens of God. You know, we talk about this concept of putting our face towards against the dials like we would at an optometrist, and we would adjust the lenses and then we see clearly. Y'all, every single morning, this time together is really the time to do that, to adjust our lens, to refocus and make sure that we're oriented both to ourselves, but also to the world around us through the lens of God, through the lens of the truth over who he says that we are. Talking about identity is one of the most important things that we can do, pursuing the truth of who we are, because as it says here, be glad you have a function in salvation to fulfill. We are a critical part of the mission of God. We are of critical importance in this world. And it says, be thankful that your value far transcends your meager gifts and petty judgments. So it's not even necessarily the identity, as we're talking about, of who you show up as to everybody around you. It's the identity that is inchangeable and impervious and eternal and lasting. That is the place that we can just, really rest in. We can have the confidence that it does not matter what I do physically here in this world. Yes, there's going to be physical ramifications, in terms of the eternal, let's say, wow, this is interesting. Return on investment, ROI. Eternal ROI has an impact on the way that we cultivate our soul and spirit. There's going to be eternal ripples. But the way that we also do here on this world, in terms of like our being and our being is the thing that has those eternal ripples and eternal ROI, whereas our doing has physical and limited by time and space ROI. So we will face consequences for whatever we do, but we also can step back and realize, who does God say that I am? Because if I'm trying to earn my way into eternity, if I'm trying to earn my way into the ROI here limited by time and space, we're going to experience the consequence of that if we're assigning our value to what other people think versus the internal being, the eternal value is so strong, so known, so cultivated that actually translates into what we do. Now we're integrated, we're connected. We're not these dismembered beings or disassociated beings where we've got kind of our eternal soul operating in one state and then our physical being operating in another. My dad has this saying where he'll say sometimes that someone can be so heavenly minded they're of no earthly good. And I've seen that. I've seen it, and I've also seen it the other way around, where they're of all earthly good because they're so earthly minded. Will they be of any heavenly good? And so it goes both ways. Are we cultivating our spirit and our soul? And from that place, then, are we giving and loving and serving and leading in the physical? We should never have it be separate. However, both aspects need to be cultivated: soul, spirit, mind, body. All four of these encompass our human intelligence, the intellectual intelligence, emotional, spiritual, physical. And yet, when we think here of be glad you have a function in salvation to fulfill, be glad that our lives have meaning, our lives have purpose. We are not left without a reason why. We are not left without a why. And isn't that one of the most comforting things? Because it can be discouraging sometimes, waking up and just wondering if we're in the right role or right job or right profession, if we're with the right person. Man, there can be a lot of confusion. But man, if we know our why and we know our mission, well, now it's our mission is the very thing that kind of propels us from within, and then we have that as a barometer. We can almost use that as the weather vane to go and check relationships and check professions and check the way that we're spending our time, our habits, the music we're listening to, the podcast. Because if we know our mission, we know who we are, our identity, whose we are, God himself, and why we are, our mission. Man, those three things become the very measuring stick we use for every relationship, every bit of time spent, everything we do in our lives are now weighed against the truth of those three things: who we are, whose we are, and why we are. But we have to take time to know that. And in taking the time to know that, man, there's so much purpose. There's so much meaning on the other side of that. But if we don't have that measuring stick to then be able to go and weigh the people that we encounter and the competing, even the competing distractions. There's so many distractions. There's so much vying for our attention, so much vying for our time. So if we don't have clarity on this is who I am supposed to be, this is what I'm supposed to do, this is why I'm here, it's going to be really hard for us to make the right choice. I'm just going to jump here in the chat. Brian, as I said, good morning. I'm glad you're here. Sid, good morning. I have found so many people benefit from meditation. And I've also talked with people who really are against it. So I think it has to be like a personal choice. Good morning, Goose Hunter. Thank you. I'm so glad you're here. Rob Vine, good morning. I'm so glad you're here. Irene, hello. Thank you so much for joining. Fellow, good morning. Yes. Thankfulness for everything. All right, y'all. I want to ask, I would love, because we're talking thankfulness this morning, I would love to know, what are you guys thankful for? Like, let's just blow up this chat with all the gratitude, because there is an endless amount of, man, there's just endless amounts of gratitude out there for even the fact that we're here on this show. I'm so thankful for this show. I'm so thankful for each one of you. Comic Flick Fusion, Steve, I am so glad to see you all. Rob Vine, Cornelia, good morning. Oh man, I'm so glad to see you guys. So what are you guys grateful for? I'd love to be able to hear this, and just have us all express so much gratefulness and gratitude. I am thankful. I'm just looking here at my pretty bracelets. I'm so grateful for my bracelets. I love pretty things. Comic Book Fusion, I'm grateful for you. I'm so glad you're here. Y'all, I'd love to hear, what are you guys thankful for? What is lighting you up right now? Even just looking around your home. I'm so grateful to be alive. I'm so grateful for oxygen. I'm so grateful for flowers. I just got fresh flowers the other day. I'm thankful for your morning readings. I'm thankful to be alive. Me too, Rob Vine. I'm so grateful for you joining and showing up. It's so encouraging seeing, like, I love seeing new people, but man, it's so encouraging seeing the same folks come on here. I love it. And I feel like we're all growing together and changing together. It's so cool. What else? What are you guys grateful for? I'm grateful for a new day. I woke up this morning and just the second I was awake, it was, thank you, God. I'm so grateful. I really want to train my mind to be one of gratitude. You know, guys, like there's so much. Like Steve says, any day you're not pushing up daisies can't be a bad day. It's so true. It's so true. Man, there's just endless reasons. I'm grateful for sunshine. I'm grateful for birds. I'm grateful for, I already said flowers, but I'll say it again. I'm grateful for flowers. I'm grateful for laundry being clean. I did all these loads of laundry yesterday because I was kind of getting back into the groove of things. I'm grateful for new contracts. That's fun and exciting. I'm grateful for trace minerals. I put trace minerals in my water and I feel like I'm actually not so thirsty anymore. Every morning I am grateful that I can experience a new day. Goose Hunter, me too. Oh my gosh. So many people don't get this opportunity. And y'all, the thing that's wild is that when we allow for our hearts and minds to be oriented and powered from this place of gratitude, all of a sudden, it's like we just see a different world. We see a completely different landscape if we are looking through the lens of gratitude. All of a sudden, the person that was just annoying us, we look at them and we're like, wow, I actually think that I might see God in you. Because we are made in the image of God. I really believe that. So therefore, when we look in the world around us, when we look at ourselves in the mirror, man, if we're not viewing ourselves and other people as something to be honored and loved and cherished, then maybe we actually are not really captivating the opportunity to be viewing through God's lens. Because I actually have a feeling that when he looks at us, man, he just freaking loves us. So it changes the view for for ourselves and when we look in our own mirror, but also the way that we look at the person on the side of the road, our barista, the police officer who pulls us over. Every single person now becomes this mirror for us, reminding us of who we are, but also who God is. And then we just, man, there's so many opportunities to love him. Steve, I could only be more grateful if you came and did my laundry. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Nika, hello. Let me check. I haven't checked my Instagram in a couple days, but I will check on there. Thank you so much for your note. Good morning. I'm thankful I have a house and a car. Hold on, it got lost. Okay, you said I'm grateful I have a house and 2 kids, Cash Money and you. Oh, Robin, I love that. That's so good. Man, imagine if we didn't have a car these days. That would just be nearly impossible. So what a good thing. I'm so glad. Oh my gosh. DTM, good morning. So glad to see you. Sash, good morning. We're just honestly sharing things that we're grateful for because we want to orient our minds and our hearts towards that which is good and that which is the way that God sees the world, because there's so much to be grateful. Specifically this morning, as it pertains to, there's so much to be grateful for. So I am actually going to do the exercise today where she says take 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes in the evening and just focus on the gains. There's this book called The Gap and the Gain by Benjamin Hardy and Dan Sullivan. Absolutely amazing book. And it talks about we can either look through the lens of, okay, this is where I am today against where I want to be and look at this massive gap, or we can stand where we are today, look back and see the massive gains. And all of a sudden, if we look back and we're like, oh my gosh, look at where I started from all the way back there. Now it's us competing against ourselves. Now it's us versus us. And we don't compare anymore. And we are filled with gratitude. Man, yes, we still know where we want to go, but we're powered now by the past of gratitude rather than the future gap. And so for those reasons, that's one of the benefits of really being able to put on the lens of how does God view this situation? How does God view me? How does God view somebody else? Because now I am freaking powered by love and gratitude rather than despair or frustration or anger. We will never have the highest velocity and gas in the tank if we're being powered by that kind of more negative state. So what better force than love and gratitude to move throughout this whole day, to do the thing we're called to do, to move through our mission, than that of love and gratitude. Rob Vine, I'm so glad. Thank you so much. Every moment, every day to share with you on here that I can't share anywhere else. I'm so grateful. And I'm so grateful for, honestly, YouTube. It's like, what a blessing. Oh my goodness. Goose Hunter says, do you think that there's a big difference between being grateful and being happy? I actually think that there is, because I have found that actually gratitude is the antidote to so many things. Like, frankly, I learned that while I was in a time of conflict with somebody. I learned that by, even in a moment of conflict, by focusing on gratitude, realizing I would actually rather be in relationship with them than not. And here's everything I actually am grateful for, even though I'm feeling angry. That gratitude actually moved me out of anger. It kind of like elevated, it brought me out of it. It brought a different perspective. Happiness isn't so much it hasn't been as much of a savior in those moments for me. It's harder to will myself into happiness, but I guess gratitude could actually be the pathway to joy, to happiness. Um, how can you not? How can you not end up being happy once you start focusing on that which you're grateful for? We will find what we're looking for. So if we are finding reasons to be grateful, we'll find them. But if we're finding and looking for reasons to be have discontent and complain, we will surely find those too. It's just the matter of, am I looking back at the gain in our relationships, in our business, in our personal lives, or am I looking at the gap? And so from either perspective, we can engage the world. But I think that happiness so often is on the other side of gratitude. I don't actually think happiness requires gratitude, but I think that so often that can be the yield. We talk about return and on our investment. I actually think gratitude is a form of investment. It's an investment in our relationships, and it's an investment into our future. It's an investment into ourselves. It's an investment because it has such a great yield. And I think happiness could be the yield. It's a wonderful life at Clarence the Angel. I love that, Steve. Oh my gosh. Y'all, thank you so much for joining. We are going to switch up our time tomorrow from being 6 a.m. Pacific to be 8 a.m. Pacific. So we're going to be live at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific tomorrow. So we're going to be on a little bit later. Last week we got on a Saturday morning and there weren't as many people on early. So I'm going to go ahead and change it up and let us all sleep in a little bit. What a blessing, y'all. What a blessing. There's so much to be grateful for. So with that, I hope you guys join me. I'm about to go take my 15 minutes of honestly just closing my eyes and spending time in gratitude, because I know that transforms the way that we show up for everybody else and for ourselves. So I'm going to go do that. I will see you. Actually, wait, hold on. Do I have a show later today? I have a show later today. Oh my gosh, I'm not going to see you. I mean, maybe I'll see you tomorrow, but I will see you later today at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific today. I have a guest. I'm so excited, actually. His name is George, like my dad. So I will see you all later today. And you guys can just get notified when that event starts. But otherwise, I will see you tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific.